You ever show a friend a horror movie sometimes that's something that's like old or new or something like that, and then they suddenly just either didn't like it or just hate on it because the movie wasn't that scary. Because this is like sometimes like even the movies like, oh, if I showed them either Nightmare on Elm Street on from 1984, and it was an old movie, not a modern horror movie, it was a movie from the 80s, and I showed it to them and they're like, that was just like little like boring, lazy, something like that. It wasn't even that scary, you know. I'm like, and I told him, what do you mean it's not that scary? Like, it's a horror movie. It doesn't matter if it was scary or not. It was still a good horror movie how they're done, and that's what made it scary. It's because and stuff. And even though it doesn't really have to like jump scare, it doesn't have to go with like jump scare. It could be like little like silence or like stuff. People sometimes either get scared from like old horror movies or new ones sometimes because people have never even seen them or seen them many times, and people who have watched them before just are not scared, but they still love the movie. Like me right here, I go to the movie theater sometimes. I get jump scared sometimes or don't. I still love the horror movie itself. Why? Why? And then suddenly it's not like lazy writing. They didn't do well. It doesn't always have because the horror movie it can have like it can be like different types of horror like slashers, suspense, thrillers, other kinds of things. You know, so right here. I remember watching Sam Raimi's 1981's Evil Dead, and I remember the terrifying scene where Linda came out of the grounds clawing Ash's leg because of the gore, because that part was really gory, and the practical effects with the deadites, with the eyes, the blood, and everything was more gruesome, but it made it more terrifying and more like chilling and give you chills and stuff. So that's all something I have to say right there and stuff. But let me know your thoughts. Like, this is something I would tell like the Gen Zs and stuff, the young teens about horror movie about horror movies like this at the time, how they were good.